Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Coach to Transformation's Communities of Practice, Leadership, and Executive Coaching series. Our Communities of Practice is a learning space designed for coaches to come together, exchange experiences, explore real world leadership dynamics, and deepen their understanding of coaching approaches that support conscious and human centered leadership. In this leadership and executive coaching series, we focus on the topic Authority is an Illusion, Coaching the Human behind the title. I'm Chaitanya, your host for today's session, and I'm delighted to welcome Harleen and Aman, who will be leading us through the session. So, over to you, Harleen.
Yeah, thanks, Chaitanya. So has Aman joined yet?
We'll be looking into it. I think he had actually joined, so okay. Yeah, Aman has joined the session. So,
Sure.
yes, sorry for the delay, guys.
Hi, Harlene, everybody. I'm extremely sorry. For some
Hi.
reason, the link is not, I'm not able to log into the link. Just give me 30 seconds. I'm just figuring
No,
out what's happening. Yeah. Just give
no
me 30
worries.
seconds.
So meanwhile, I can set the context, Chaitanya.
Yes,
Sure.
that will be great. Thank you, Harleen.
Yeah. Thank you everyone for joining us in today's topic. Authority is an illusion, coaching the human behind the title. So when we hear this word as title, what does it comes to our mind? Is it somewhere around power, influence, status? But do we ever talk about the fear, the doubt, the loneliness that comes up, accompanied with the presence of pressure to be perfect? So every CXO, VP, director, or anyone at a top hierarchy, they generally, what do you see? A person at a very top hierarchy, his or her designation. But what about that human beneath that role who wants some kind of clarity or feels to be seen or wants to rise? And this is where we will be deep diving in today's conversation with Aman, where we will be talking about not coaching the title, but exploring as to how we can strip away the hierarchy and focus on the leader as a human. So I have Aman with me. Aman is my mentor coach, so whom I deeply admire because of his coaching styles. He has touched thousands of lives, helping them to connect with themselves, be aware as to what they want, achieve that clarity, and lead from the place of grounded awareness. Thank you so much, Aman, for being here.
Thank you so much, Harleen. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And my apologies because I got a bit delayed. The link wasn't opening, but here I am with all of you. So thank you so much for the invitation.
It's a pleasure and an honor to have you sharing my screen with you. So, Aman, let's begin. So, Aman, you are in this coaching space for almost close to a decade. And what are some of your personal stories when we talk about something around authority? What are some of the personal stories around it?
Yeah, I'll begin there. Before that, I just wanted to say hi to everybody who's here, who've made time. And also, Madhuri has put in a request if you guys can just open up your windows and allow us to see your presence, see you, the human sitting behind the screen. Thank you so much for that. Thank you, Madhuri. Thank you, CTT. Thank you, everybody who's made this possible. Yes, so amazing. Now the screen looks real with so many wonderful faces that I can see. Okay, so Harleen, uh, coaching authority, that's been something that has been very close to my heart. Not because, honestly, not because of a passion to coach people with very high designations. It all started with the fear because when I started coaching, I was around 30 years of age. And at that point in time, the only fear I had was if I'm sitting and coaching somebody who's a CEO, who's 40, 50, 60, how will I show up in front of that person? Right? And I used to always find myself slightly fearful, to be honest, conflicted. How do I navigate this challenge? And I used to almost always find myself coaching somebody who was elder than me. So yes, that's the journey that I've taken. Of course, a lot of
Aman.
things happened, and as we have a conversation today, I'm going to share that with you. But that's the context. That's why coaching CEOs or CXOs, anybody who kind of is in your mind higher than where you are, unequal to who you are, it always creates a bit of a challenge for coaches. So that's the context, and that's my experience, how it all began.
Yeah, okay. And Aman, what do you feel generally? What are some of the misconceptions which coaches hold while working with senior leadership?
Yeah. Um, I think so. It's very easy to talk about this from my position today. So I'm going to honestly acknowledge that because there's a lot of coaching experience that's coming behind. But the truth is the truth, right? Uh, the biggest myth I think is that there is no concept of leadership coaching in reality.
Correct.
Leadership is it's just a designation that you allot to somebody. And I always, I always encourage people or invite all coaches to challenge themselves, right? To ask themselves this question. Imagine you are coaching a leader, okay? And all of you here are coaches. Imagine you are coaching a leader. What would you do differently from a competency perspective? Is there a single competency in the competency document that tells you when you are coaching a leader, this is what you should do? Otherwise, you can do away with doing anything else that you wish to do. In fact, I'm going to go one step ahead and I'm going to ask all of you again, invite all of you to look at this idea of the whole piece of ICF values. And if you go back to the first session of L1 that all of you did with us, you will see there is one point which says coach and client are equal, which means that the first lesson that you learn in coaching is that yes, there are authorities, there are designations, there is power. But when you are sitting in that seat and you are coaching somebody, if you are showing a competency differently, then you are not following the ICF core values. You're not following the principle of collaboration, humanity, equality. You're not being fair. You're not being humane. You're not being authentic. That is why this whole world, yes, we do talk about leadership coaching, coaching senior leaders, etc., etc. But at the end of the day, when you are sitting with somebody across the table in the here and now, there is no leader. There is just one human heart and mind interacting with another human heart and mind, and that's the space we create. The moment you say, oh, I am coaching a leader, that's all. From that moment, you are no longer authentic. You're no longer following ICF rules, ICF values, ICF competencies, and then you are no longer, I'm going to go ahead and say this, you're no longer client centric. Because then coaching is not about serving the human in front of you. Then coaching is about, oh, there is a person sitting in front of me who has an authority and a designation, but I don't have the capacity to manage that authority within me. So now all of my coaching then becomes a mechanism for me to manage what is happening inside of me as a result of somebody sitting in front of me. So to me, that is the, if you get the essence of that, it solves a lot of problems.
So, Aman, you said that it's just a human connecting with another human. So, since you have a rich experience in this coaching space, you have coached normal individuals, someone in a very senior position. Have you seen any change in the tone and behavior of the client when he or she is a leader?
So I have coached normal people only. I'm yet to coach somebody who's not normal.
Normal in the sense, okay, they
I'm
are
pulling your leg.
individuals.
I'm sorry. I'm just pulling your leg.
Okay.
Okay, look, here's the thing. All of us wear masks, right? That's the truth. The way we grow up, the way we are conditioned, we all grow up with masks. And therefore, it's not about a leader. Any person who sits in front of you for the probably for the first time is obviously carrying a mask that they have been forced to put upon. And you can always coach the mask. There is no problem in that. In fact, people don't even realize that they are coaching the person or the mask. But here is the thing. You can either choose to do that, or you can choose to create a space where you create so much safety that you allow the person to say, okay, this space seems okay for me to put away one of the masks that I am wearing. And then suddenly you see a different person in front of you. And then you talk a little, you create a little bit more love, safety, compassion, right? And then you see, oh, okay, there's one more mask that's coming off, right? And so to answer your question, it's not that leaders use a different tone. Leaders use a tone which is a mask that they wear. I'll give you an example. You listen to a mother. Okay. All mothers will have a universal tone and a language because that's the mother in them speaking, right? So all of us move around with certain social identities. Each social identity has kind of an archetype, and people just carry that archetype and they move around, right? Have you seen Suits, Netflix series by any chance?
Not yet.
Okay,
Not
so if
yet.
yeah, so for those of you who have seen Suits, you will see everybody is in a suit there, right? Because that's the social identity that they are portraying. So leaders, yeah, they have this universal leadership style or way of talking, you can call it that way. But what's really important is for the coach to not get distracted by that. Coach has to remind himself or herself why she or he is here, create that space. And a very important thing, the moment you see somebody taking off the mask, acknowledge that person. At least 3 or 4 places in the ICF competencies, there is the word acknowledgement. It's not easy. It's not easy. That is also coaching. Somebody just telling you, oh, okay, it doesn't feel like a coaching session now, Aman, just feels like a great conversation two of us are having. Brilliant. That's the beginning, right? So you acknowledge the person there and tell them, hey, thank you for sharing that. It might not be easy because we are sitting in a very corporate type of a setting, but for you to even say that, that requires a lot of courage. Thank you for sharing that. So, long answer to a short question. Sorry.
No, no. It was really insightful. So, Aman, so it's like while we are acknowledging, how have you shifted your focus from a title to a person sitting in front of you?
Yeah. So for that, you will have to. One of the ways, not everybody, but I think you will have to face your greatest fears. Okay, what's your greatest fear? Think about it. Oh, I am sitting in front of a CEO, and I'm coaching the CEO, and the CEO tells me, "Oh, what? You are a useless coach. You don't even know how to coach, right?" I mean, that's the fear that all of us have. For me, it has come true. Right? I have met somebody in a coaching session who's actually said that to me, but uh, the way you respond in that situation has to be your own practice. See, because see, you can only support a client as much as you have supported yourself. You can only meet a client at a place where you met yourself. You can only hear a client to the depth that you have heard your own self. So if somebody shouts at you, if somebody is very critical about you, right? If somebody is not seemingly happy with what is happening in the conversation, the important question is not how do you tackle that. The important question is what does that do to you? What does authority do to you? What does displeasure do to you? What does somebody saying you're not a good coach do to you? And if you go a little deeper, the question really is what does it do to your awareness? What does it do to your presence? If it shakes up your awareness, then you are no longer coaching. Then something is happening, coaching is not happening. But if in that moment you are able to ground yourself, become present, competency coaching mindset, the coach learns to regulate his or her emotions. When you do that, that's when you can come back to the conversation. So for me, it has happened where such an incident did happen to me several years ago. It took away the fear from my heart because I realized it's not as bad as it sounds. It also made me very, very confident that, okay, even in this situation, if I were able to maintain my awareness, I think I'm doing a fairly okay job. One thing that Rajat always used to tell me, us, all the people who work with CTT and who's grown with CTT is, how much of practice are you doing? That's really the crux of it. How much of coaching you are getting? Every time I meet Rajat now, also he tells me, "Are you doing coaching?" Like he'll ask me in Hindi, "तो coaching खुद ले रहा है कि नहीं ले रहा है? Are you being coached or not?" Right? That's a very important part of continuous learning and growth. So that's the thing. You have to practice. I think you have to face it if it ever comes. You have to keep reflecting, and finally, I think the ICF document is a living document. Every time, wherever you are in your journey as a coach, when you read the competencies, they will appear very differently to you. So I would say, please go back to the competency documents and see what it means to you in that moment. That's been my journey, but everybody has their own journey, and I would encourage everybody to take whatever path gets created for them.
Okay. So, Aman, say in the case when we practice, okay, it's about we being the coach, and we follow the competencies. But in spite of we practicing, there are some hard clients. So
Yeah.
so how will a coach face a very, I would say, a client in a very senior position who's holding a very strong armor around him or her? How to strip away that armor, that corporate identity from that client? Like me as a coach, if I'm doing it, everything, but the client is not ready. He or she is holding to the identity a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
What can be done in that situation?
Yeah. Okay. So, two or three perspectives I can share on this. See, the first thing is that even this need that I have to support somebody let go of their mask or their armor, right, and shed their identity is a need that we are bringing to the table. So, first, we need to be aware of that. See, we have to meet the clients where they are, not where we are, or not where we want them to be. Right? Wherever that person is there, it's a great place to begin. So please don't think anybody that, okay, only once people shed their armor or whatever you want to call it is where coaching begins. No, coaching begins the first time you hear from a client. Even a WhatsApp message, "Hey Aman, I got a connect from somebody. Is it okay if we connect? I would need some coaching." That is where coaching is already begun. So don't wait for that moment. That's number one. See, number two is, and this is a point that I can't stress enough. uh, what is it that people don't get to see? That's a question we have to ask ourselves as coaches. Why is somebody hiring us? Are people hiring us for knowledge? There's enough knowledge out there. Are people hiring us for tools and techniques? There is enough tools and techniques out there. Are people hiring us for our experience? There are more experienced people than you, me, and maybe all of us put in this room together. And this is my experience. People hire coaches because of the awareness and presence that we bring to the table. Otherwise, we don't have anything. To be honest, think about it like this. There is nothing of power that a coach holds except for bringing immense presence, awareness, and safety to the conversation. So, when you talk to people, if you meet people without working on your own self, right? If you meet with people without doing your inner work, the moment there is something happening in the outside world, it will shake you inside. And you will forget all competencies, all markers, all ICF values, everything will be forgotten. So, what I would recommend to all the coaches who are intrigued by this topic is uh, make it a very conscious practice to not only work on the competencies but also work on the ICF values and ethics. I cannot stress how important ICF values and ethics are. For example, in the ICF value of humanity, I think the first point is that you accept you are a human and you acknowledge the fact that you are a human being. Right? How many of us actually practice that? Imagine how critical we are with ourselves. Right? We are going to practice equity of process and equality and inclusivity, right? We are going to respect dignity, self-worth. These are not just words. These are real human values. Without doing this, it is very tough to get rid of these inner conflicts of authority and power and hierarchy and all those things. Because then it becomes very intellectual. So my invitation to everybody in this room and whoever later sees this is, when you begin coaching, the AAA process that we do, the ICF competencies that we do, they are a great place to begin. But ultimately, you have to coach a whole human being. And therefore, you need to know the whole of coaching. The whole of coaching is not only about competencies and markers, it is also about the ethics and the values. So look at the ethics and values document and see how much of that you can imbibe in your life. And another invitation that I can offer to this group and everybody else is, see, you can only be as much of a coach on the chair as you are a coach outside of the chair. So if you are not coaching and you are a highly judgmental human being and you come in the coaching and tell, oh, wonderful, wonderful, such a beautiful thing you have told, you touched my heart. I'm telling you, people will see through your nonsense. Okay. And they'll tell, oh, okay, same fellow, I know in my office also, same inauthentic person, my coach is also like that, the world is only like that, coaching is only like that, I hired a coach, didn't work for me, da 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 da, finish. So if you practice competencies, become the competency. If you practice the values, try to absorb and become that human being. Today only we had a meeting, I was just talking, Madhuri knows, Madhuri is part of that, and mentor coaches, we were discussing about coaching and what happened to us, and I was sharing with them that I'm just realizing that coaching competencies makes you an amazing human being. You forget about coaching. Okay, it'll make you an amazing human being if you can create that space for yourself and others. So look at the values of ICF, look at the ethics of ICF, do more practice, do more inner work, but most importantly, become that person, become an honest, authentic coach. See if you can follow the competencies as a human being in your life overall. It will naturally start flowing into your coaching conversation. Yes, and finally, one more point. Please continue working with your mentor coaches. That's a never-ending journey. Right? You have to continue working with your mentor coaches so that you keep evolving your own coaching style.
Thanks, Aman. So, Aman, so it's like you just gave a whole overall picture of ICF competencies, values, ethics. But what about the coach as a human too? And generally, when a person is becoming a coach for the first time and doing his or her session for the first time, they generally feel intimidated by the senior leader sitting in front of them. So, w- what can be done in that situation just to have a control over it?
So again, no direct answer to that because this is also like our L1 batch happening, right? And there are no direct answers. Look, everybody's way of responding to what's happening within them is different. So let me just give you an example. Okay? And this is completely hypothetical, so just take it with a fistful of salt. What authority does to me can be very different from what authority does to you. if I have
Okay.
had if I have had bad experience with somebody who's very authoritative in my life, my inner being is going to respond differently. It could respond by being scared. It could respond by shutting down. It could respond by being aggressive. It could respond by just being like fawning, people pleasing, right? So the inner response that you give to power, hierarchy, authority, designation, whatever you call it, is very different. That is why how you work with it is also going to be very different and very subjective and very individualistic. But coaching mindset is basically the competency that we need to work on. I love saying that in coaching there are four words which I consider as mahavakyas or like great statements: open, curious, flexible, and client centric. Those are the qualities of coaching mindset. So if you look at every element, all the 8 9 sub competencies of coaching mindset, you will see that there is a lot of work that you can do on each of those for you to be able to hold your presence in a conversation where the client seemingly behaves in ways that you are not used to. So I would say that work on that. Competencies like preparing mentally and emotionally before the session, very important. Continuous learning and development, very important. Regulating yourself mentally and emotionally while in the session, very important. I love this one. The coach is okay not knowing. Fantastic competency, right? Because the moment you don't know and you feel scared, then you start doing all the things that coaches are not supposed to do. But if you become curious and say, okay, oh, why is this person shouting at me, right? Why is this person speaking like this to me? Why would a person behave this way? You become genuinely curious. And I can maybe throw in one tip that my mentor coaches have given me about uh, dealing with tough kind of clients, is that whenever you face a situation like that, become like a child. Just become like a small child. Zero malice, complete transparent, completely giving yourself to the process, extremely curious, and no ego. Right? Oh, how did this person tell me? I had 1800 hours of coaching with me. I'm Dr. Aman Jhaveri. How can somebody okay, just leave all that outside and just become like, just put yourself out of the room. The more you come in the conversation, that is where problems start. If you put yourself out of the conversation, things will change. And see, in the ICF document, there is a very beautiful word which says that, I don't know the exact sentence, but it says that as coaches you don't display superiority. Okay. The converse is also true. As a coach you don't feel superior, but as a coach you don't feel inferior also.
Oh, so Aman, while you're calling out not feeling superior or inferior,
Hmm.
how can an individual who's a coach
Hmm.
maintain a confident presence
Hmm.
without matching the authority?
Huh, that's what I said, right? That's the work, Harleen. That's the work each one of you will have to do. First, you have to
Mhm.
go to a coach and put this as a coaching question that you know
So
what.
it's like a shadow work which we need to do with ourselves
Ha,
and then
so
go ahead with the coach.
so I know you, Harleen, and therefore I know where is shadow work coming in for you. But for everybody, it's going to be different. But what work you do is not important. What is more important is how many of, so let me just check in quickly with a show of hands. How many of you get coached not for completing your hours, but to improve your coaching or improving any aspect of your life?
So here comes Aman, the mentor coach.
No, look, that's a real question. Okay, I can see two hands, three. Okay, I can see a couple of hands, which is amazing. Which is amazing. Super. Oh, I can see more hands now. Super. Okay, this is a practice. This is a practice because a lot of times we miss the forest for the woods, and we get so obsessed with completing our hours that we say, oh, okay, now I need 30 minutes from you. Can you give me coaching time? I want to come. I'm at 375 hours. I need 125 more hours, right? That's the language we start talking. But the kind of ecosystem that we have, and I'm just going to do 2 minutes of CTT Tom Tom here. The kind of ecosystem we have, the number of coaches we have, the mentor coaches we have, the whole pool, now the AI and all those stuff coming in, the system that we have for practicing and working on ourselves is unmatched. So I'm going to say, Harleen, if that's a burning question for you, how do I deal with authority and presence while I'm growing as a coach? I'm going to say, use that question, ping somebody in the group, and tell them I need coaching, I need to work on this. And let me share one personal story with you. When I was doing my mentor coaching program, MCCP, Madhuri and I were in the same batch, and we had to do
Mhm.
practice peer coaching sessions. I'm
Okay.
not going to call it peer coaching also now, sorry for that. Coaching sessions. I have used all sessions for only one topic, right? All
Mhm.
sessions only for one topic, which you guys can do as well. So if this is really a burning question for you, start there, check in with people, right? Along with that, let me just share something which might be helpful again, a little more as an advice rather than coaching, but still might be useful. See, you can, superiority will only affect you if you also experience inferiority. If you see somebody higher than you, it also means that you are seeing people lower than you. So instead
Mm.
of going and working on somebody higher up, see, am I showing up as higher up for somebody else in my life? If you can see everybody equally, not yourself inferior, in other parts of your life, it will start showing in your coaching. That's a practice, I guess, you guys can do and see how it goes for you.
Thank you so much, Aman. Aman, so while you were just talking out, and since we are talking about this topic as authority is an illusion, something that came to my mind is at times what happens is when the client is tough and the power dynamics comes into picture. So, as
Hmm.
per your experience,
Hmm.
did you ever face any kind of power dynamics during the session?
Sure.
Uh,
So I'll answer that, but I'm just a little curious. What do you mean by tough?
it's like me doing it. A client who's all around, it's just me, and me.
Yeah.
And it's not trying, like during the coaching session, the client is not ready to peel the
Hmm.
layers, which we
Hmm.
generally do.
Hmm.
So it's like I am doing for my team. This is
Yeah.
what these are the rules which are it's set by me. If you
Hmm.
don't follow it, I'll throw you out of the company. So
Hmm.
there are some senior leaders, me coming
Sure.
from from an organization. I've seen many different kind of peoples. And there are some whose world it's just rotate around themselves. And during a coaching session, so by God's grace, I haven't met a client like that, But
So that
I
is
have
not God's grace. When you meet a client, that will be God's grace on you. Don't worry. That is where your
I,
coaching will grow.
I don't generally when I think about, oh God, coaching this person is not possible for me.
Okay.
So I would ask you, so how will like, not I, how did you regulate yourself, your emotions during
Okay.
such situations? And Aman, it's like, okay, fine. It's not about the past experience which you just called out. Okay, we
Okay.
are brought up in certain situations, but what if that person you're knowing for the first time and it's not ready to open and very hard, very tough?
Okay. So, first of all, I have with CTT, I
Mm.
have coached many senior people, and trust me, the number of people as you defined as tough are very less in this world. Generally, human beings are good. They are nice. They are
Yes,
cooperative. They want to grow, right? But yes,
yes.
the truth also is that you can like you will always face people, find people like this. So, Harleen, you remember the definition of coaching that we did, right? And in that definition, there is a word called creative, thought
Mm.
provoking, and creative. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, as coaches, we have to become creative because one formula, one question, one style may not serve everybody. So, as a coach, how do you become more creative in terms of sensing what your client needs in that moment?
Mm.
So each coach, I believe, must work on their own creativity. How does creativity come? Uh, See, think of it like this. Suppose early in I and you are, let's say, sitting in Goa on a beach, and I'm telling you, Harleen, look at the beach and look at the clouds and look at the sunset. And, oh, wonderful, wow! And I can write a poetry here, and this emotion is coming up. All the things we can talk. And imagine suddenly I tell you, Harleen, there is a dog behind you who's ready to bark and bite you. Will you look at the sunset? No, you will say, let's run from
Mm.
it. Correct? All creativity is gone in that moment. That moment, only thing for you is survival. You will probably run
Yeah,
faster than me also. Correct?
yes.
Create Creativity can only blossom in an environment which feels safe. Inside you, if you are not safe, inside you, if your inner being is constantly in a fight or flight state, then there is no time for creativity, there is no space for creativity. That is why part of the answer to that question is that if you have to be creative, work on yourself, work on your
Mm.
inner safety. That's where creativity really starts and blossoms. All clients are not same. Some might work with metaphors, some might work with silence, some might work with analogies, some might work with emotions, some might work with thought, right? Some might work with imaginations. So we can never say, and that's the beauty of coaching, you are not dependent on a framework, right? So number one is work on your creativity. And the second thing is, look, coaching, the most amazing thing about coaching is it's so simple. It's so simple, right? So if a client, so okay, so a client once came to me and said, Aman, I have, there are a lot of thoughts going on in my mind and I'm having a headache. I want to talk to you about that. And the most natural question that came to me at that moment was, generally when people have a headache, they go to a doctor. Why are you coming to a coach? And that changed everything. But that was a really honest, curious question. If a client comes to me and tells me that, oh, I do this and I do that and I do this and I do that, then I'll check with them, okay, brilliant. Then why do you need me? Why do you need a coach? Right? I generally ask people, okay, what do you want in life that you don't have right now? What are some of your desires that you would love to accomplish in your lifetime? Because everybody doesn't have problems. Most people have desires in them. So it's not about what question to ask. It is about you being able to tap into your creativity. Crack a joke sometime. If you are that person, don't fake it, because then you're not authentic and that's something that people will see through. But crack a joke, just be honest with people. Sometimes just verbalizing their fears can support you, right? So I one of the things that I practice is I tell people that, you know what, I know this is a corporate coaching and somebody is kind of making you sit here with me, but this is a great opportunity and we can really make a lot out of it. What do you think about this idea? It just loosens up people. Sometimes I tell people that, you know what, look, I know this is corporate coaching, and now it's amazing that the word coaching philosophy has come into the competency document also, which all of you will see soon. So I tell people that my philosophy is there is no separate people in this world, that, oh, okay, I'm just coaching the Harllen HR executive, whatever you wish to do at your home, you do. If you think it's important, you can always bring it here. I am okay as long as you think it's important for you, right? So don't make these distinctions between personal and professional life. This is a safe space. You know, the first sentence that we use in coaching, oh, we have 20 minutes and whatever we discuss is absolutely confidential between you and me. Is that okay? Trust me, it is so powerful if you say it with intent. Unfortunately, what happens with us is because we practice it for 500 hours to get our recording, it becomes as if it's rote for us, but it is not. You sit with somebody and tell them whatever you and I discuss is absolutely confidential and it will never go out from my side. You know, people don't get that space in this world at all. You are creating that for somebody. I know it's a corporate setting, but I am not here to coach others. I'm here to coach you. You are my client and your confidentiality is most important to me. Your safety is most important to me. Your vulnerability is most important to me. When you say that with intent and presence, no, it just loosens up the whole thing. So these are some of the things that I guess everybody can practice.
So now this shows how important is setting up an agreement in a coaching conversation.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. That's why agreement, if you don't clear the 4 markers, your PCC recording will not clear.
Okay, thanks for letting me know that, Aman.
Okay, I'm also checking in with everybody because do we have time for Q&A? I'm not sure of how this is structured, but yeah.
Yeah, so Chaitanya can help us understand like how much time is allotted for Q&A.
So there are already some chats and I'm not able to
Yeah,
read
it's
all.
coming up. It's coming up.
Yeah. Okay. I can see your hand up, Vandana. What is up? I don't know if you have a question or not, but Harleen is the boss today, so she's going to decide who's going to speak and who's not.
So it's just five more minutes. I'll just wind it off and then
Okay.
then
Sure.
Aman will be with everyone.
Okay.
So Aman, it's like in my personal experience, I've seen many a times, even people with double decade experience, when they come to an executive coaching, they generally expect an advice instead of getting into a coaching session. Um, it's like how to handle that situation, because at times what happens is, in spite of me telling that I can't advise you in a coaching session, they do expect.
Correct. Brilliant, brilliant. This is something that I think I love taking as a question in the L1 batch also. Your question is how do we work with that, right? How do we navigate that?
Yes.
Okay. Look, if, okay, first of all, why do clients come to us? Clients don't come to us for solutions. Most of the times, clients come to us for hope. They have something happening in their life and they wish to move over that, and they need a hope that that will happen for them more than answers, right? Also, why I'm saying this is because I think as coaches we need to be so sensitive to this. When clients come to us, they hand over their hearts to us. It's a great responsibility. Imagine a person coming to you in such a vulnerable state, and I'm not talking about not only about corporate issues. You will, as all of you coach, you will see people coming to you with issues that could be termed as far more traumatic, far more sensitive than saying that my P&L is in the negative this year. That is also important for people. I'm not saying one is more important than other, but what I'm saying is people come with issues which have deep emotional implications for them. Imagine a person coming like that and you telling them, we have 20 minutes for this conversation. What do you want to talk about? And when they say, I want advice, oh, as ICF coach, I don't give advice to you. Why? Because in L1 batch, Aman Jhaveri was my mentor. He said, as a coach, you should never give advice. I am not going to give advice. Okay. So, are you really being a coach in that moment? You have to be
Mm,
compassionate, right? But at the
yeah.
same time, you also know that we don't give advice not because we don't give advice. We don't give advice because we believe in the other person's potential, right? I
Mm,
know that Harleen is capable of figuring a life. She doesn't need Aman Jhaveri. And if I come in today, I'm making her dependent on me, which is not the purpose of coaching. So what I do, and this is my practice, but again, guys, for all of you, please choose what you feel best. I tell people that, you know what, if you need advice, uh, I may be able to offer you something. But before that, would you be okay if you and I explore this topic a little with you? Right? Invitational language. You create that space and you tell them. Nobody has ever told me, no, I don't want you to explore. Right now, you give me an answer. Nobody has told me that. Right? And I also go ahead and tell them that, look, I can give you an answer, but that might make you dependent on me. How about a world where you never need a coach again in your life? How would that world look like for you? How about a world where you never need an Aman Jhaveri in your life? Oh, then people, oh, is that also a possibility? Because until then, they don't even know that that is a possibility because they have never been coached, right? The fact that you don't need advice, you have enough within you to figure your own life is a new concept of idea for 99% people who come for coaching. So you position the world of coaching to them. That's also a moral responsibility that we have towards the profession. So you tell them that, you know what, I can give you advice, but you can take it anywhere. This is a very special place. Coaching is different. Are you okay exploring? Do you want to do that? And when they do that, that is where you show the power of presence. That is where you show the power of awareness. That is where you acknowledge them. You tell them, hey, you see, 10 minutes ago you told me you wanted advice, and now you are figuring your own answers. What are you feeling right now? Right? Then they'll say, oh, yeah, actually, I don't need advice. I just need this space. That's all. Then you don't need to be there also. Then you just see your client just flying, and just blossoming into this amazing human being that, their potential is. So that's what I would suggest to people who are watching.
thank you. Thank you so much, Aman, sharing with us. So, Aman, just one last question.
Yeah.
As a new coach, what will be that one message you want to share with them while they are working with senior leaders?
Yeah, just ground yourself in your authenticity. That's all. Work on that.
Phenomenal.
Everything else will flow.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much, Aman. The conversation was really insightful. Thank you so much. So I'll
Thank you
just
for that.
open this ground for questions.
Sure. If anybody has any questions, how do we generally do it? Do we put it in the chat box? How do we do it? If Madhuri is here or Harleen, if you guys can help me, I'm not sure.
It's
So,
like I couldn't get a chance. Chaitanya can share the details.
yeah, so usually people, how it goes is they usually write down a couple of pointers or like whatever they wanted to say on the chat box, but at the same time, they basically raise their hands during the Q&A session, which is at the end of every session.
Okay.
So is it like Chaitanya, you saying that I have more 5 to 10 minutes, or is it like can we open to the question round because
Oh,
it's
you can open to the question right now itself. I think people are raising
great.
their hands. You can go ahead with it.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I saw Erica first, Vandana, and then Archana. What is up, Erica? How are you? Long time no see.
Yeah, it's been going good. And you talking about, okay, I see Erica's name first, then second, reminds me of the class we used to have. So it's really amazing hearing you speak today.
Thank
So
you.
I have a question, and you mentioned something about us as coaching, as coaches continuously working with our mentor coaches. Uh,
Hmm.
Basically get comfortable with, coaching executives and all of that. So how does that look like for someone like me who has done the first level course and I'm
Right.
basically, done with the course and right now I'm practicing. So what do I do?
Brilliant question. There's somebody at the door. and I'm alone at home right now, so I have to run. It'll also give me 30 seconds to think about the answer. And I'm going to pull in Madhuri for this because we just discussed this today. So give me 30 seconds.
Sure.
That's so classic, Aman. I'm not even I'm not even supposed to speak today.
This is what Aman is, Madhuri.
I know, I know. Erica, I've been put on spot and you'll have to repeat the question for me.
I will repeat it. I will repeat
And he's back.
it. Erica was checking in on how do people who have completed their L1 or L2 continue working with their mentors? Is there like a structure that we have to it in CTT?
Yeah. So that's an excellent question, Erica. So the structure is very simple. There is this Tuesday meetings that you come into where you meet everybody in the coaching fraternity as far as CTT is concerned, mentors, coaches, everybody alike. Okay, so you continue your relationship with the mentor coach over here. That is one. The second area is that there are you are working towards your performance evaluation or you're working towards getting your credentials, you reach out to Let's Connect and they will help you to get your recording assessed. Okay? You can also be part of a performance evaluation group where you can request for one of your recordings to be assessed. So having said all of that, we are always available on WhatsApp. If you need to reach out to us, that channel remains open for you throughout. And we mean it when we say that we are stuck with you for life. So that's the mentor coaching that you will receive throughout. However, we also do other things, or we have other. So there might be some kind of timeline which we might need to respond or something like that. But definitely approach us, meet us in our Bangalore office whenever we are there in the cities that we are in. We will keep you informed. In fact, Chaitanya is going to drop you a note on how to meet the mentor coaches soon, and he's come up with a brilliant idea with coffee conversations and something else. Yeah, all right.
Yeah,
Just
coaching
support it.
conversations over
Coaching
coffee.
conversations over coffee. Yes, got that. Got that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank
Short answer to your question, Erica. Message me and be in touch. Okay, I will see Vandana there. Hey, Vandana.
Hi, Aman. It was always, it's always so fabulous to listen to you. And listening to you today just reminded me how much I think we as a batch have missed you. So I
Thank you for
firstly
that.
want to acknowledge that. My question was partly Erica's as well, but I'm glad that's been answered. But if I, want to add one more thing, I did come in here with my cup half full. But
Mm,
listening to you gave me so many answers, and I want to share that you did teach me, and I'm sure everyone who was part of my batch, a very useful tool called your inner gatekeeper. And I think you spoke about it so much today. It took me back, it stayed with me always through my coaching conversations and my journey. And I realized all of what you said today has been practiced, which is why I feel what I feel today, that you can't attract abundance when you're operating from a space of scarcity.
mm.
And I think that's what your focus, to Harleen and to all of us has been, that work on yourself. And if you are empty inside, you can't really, do justice to either you or the other person. And I wanted to share that. So, yes, I will also message you. And I would keep. I'm glad Madhuri said that we are stuck for life, and I'm going to take you up on that. So I think we'll always need to hear you, Aman, to keep going and keep our journey going ahead. So
That is
thank
a
you so much
problem. Huh?
for
That is a
all that
problem.
you've said.
We always need you is a problem. That means I am not doing my job well. You are becoming dependent on me, but
No,
we'll work
no.
on that. Vandana.
Yeah, sure, sure. Always, we are work in progress. So
Yeah,
anytime. Yeah.
absolutely. Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Aman. Thank you,
Uh,
Haleen. Fab job. Yeah.
thank you.
Thanks,
We
Vandana.
have Archana and Rajendra. I don't think we'll have time for taking any other questions. Madhuri, yeah?
I just wanted to add a layer, Aman, to whatever we have been discussing about being stuck and you summed it up well. Then you I think Aman or me or anybody are not doing our job if you continuously need a validation from us. Okay,
Yeah.
we believe that you have become the coach that you wanted to be in this journey, and we
Yeah.
are here still to support that journey to further it. So that's where we are, and we would love to be in touch in that space. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Yes, we'll take two more questions. I could see Rajendra also, but yeah, Archana, go ahead.
Yeah, hi Aman and hi everyone present here. So it was a wonderful conversation, and when I was hearing to Aman, I somehow felt it to be a spiritual coming from a spiritual place, where he was mostly saying, work from your inner core, like have that inner core first, reach that inner core, and from there you meet people. So Aman, like you were talking about inner work, I wanted to say. I wanted to ask when you say inner work, what do you mean by that, first of all? And I've just started the course, as you know, which will end in another 13 weeks. How do you carry on this journey of increasing your awareness and do the inner work during and after the course as well? And is it like when you say that, okay, increase your self-awareness or do this, do that, where you basically are working on yourself? What do you exactly mean? Like, what do you do? Is it part of? When does that happen? Is it part of peer coaching or reading up on the ICF competencies and thinking about them, searching about them, and trying to internalize them? So basically, what do you have to do? What is it that you have to do?
Sure. So we are running short of time, but I will answer this very quickly for you. Everything that you said is part of that. Your presence in the classroom when we are doing the L1 batch, how much of thinking you are doing, because ultimately there is only a limit to what a mentor coach can give you in a 3 hour conversation or even after that. The real question, Archana, is, and this maybe you could use that, ask yourself this question: what did I learn about myself today, right? And what part of what I learned can be applied in my life? What part of me am I trying to explore? Some of these questions are coaching questions which you can use for self coaching, but right now you are very early in this journey specifically for you, so just hold on. We have a long time to go, and by the time you finish your program you will be very well equipped to answer all these questions by yourself. But yes, everything you mentioned, the L1 program, the coaching sessions that you do as practice, the reflection, the exercises that you do on your LXP, all of these are going to play a role, are ways for you to explore your inner self. I'll pause here. I can share more of this when we meet for your session in the week, for sure.
Sure, sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I guess we are just on time. This is a miracle. Aman, Jhaveri finishing a session before time, so which is great.
I had Harleen to support you. So
It is only and only because of Harleen, I guess. Otherwise, all right. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, everybody. I believe there is a form in the chat box for you to get your CCUs. Please fill that form. I wish all of you all the very best. As Madhuri said, just because I am somebody's mentor coach doesn't mean I am only accessible to them. We are all part of this CTT community, and we are all here to support you guys in whatever you feel best. Please reach out to us and the backend team for anything. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Aman, and thank you everyone to be here.
Take care. Bye bye. Happy
Thank you,
coaching.
Harleen. Thank you, Aman. Thank you so much for the
Bye.
session. Thank you. Bye bye.